Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score!
Ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Washed it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. And I said, Stone Cold, why have one when you can have them both?
Swung out and drilled! Deep right center! Away back! Gone for Tony!
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Awful.
How is she awful?
Hates freedom.
And now, Any Given Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Ward and Ethan Simpson.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Any Given Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brendan Ward, sitting right next to my main man,
Ethan Simpson.
and you know what it is we are about to do. But first, the Big Ten is back. Yes, that news came back last Wednesday, right? Came down last Wednesday. But I want to talk more about the schedule that came out a few days later. Just looking at Ohio State, just for being in Ohio, and take a look and see, is there anybody that can compete with them? Going through the schedule, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Penn State, maybe? Or Michigan State. That's really all I'm seeing right now from here.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people have Penn State and Michigan in their top tens. Now that the Big Ten is back, they did like a post Big Ten return top 10, and I've seen a lot of people having Ohio State at number 2, Penn State at 7, and Michigan just barely making it in that top 10 for some people, and some people they had like a Texas or something in over them. I'm not sure, like, Michigan lost Shea Patterson, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So what,
he went undrafted.
Yeah, exactly. So what quarterback are they going to really throw out there? And is it finally the guy Jim Harbaugh's been waiting for? You know what I'm saying? I don't know much about the depth chart that is Michigan Wolverines football, just simply because I'll learn it as the season begins. We're still a little over a month away, with the first game being October 24th with Nebraska coming to the shoe. And actually it did come out like yesterday that there's 8 players on Nebraska's team that is filing a lawsuit against the Big Ten for making their schedule too hard. Like, what?
Aren't they just playing other Big Ten teams?
Yeah, like how can we make it any different? Did you only want to play Rutgers, Illinois, Indiana, and Maryland?
Right, yeah. Don't be in the Big Ten then.
Yeah, if you're that scared of the rest of the Big Ten, your conference, you probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
Right, drop down to, not a Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
If it's too hard for you to be in there.
Take your ass to the Mountain West or something.
Right. So the 2 quarterbacks, they're having a battle right now. It's Ben Fry and Dylan McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, like, is it Dylan McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's little brother?
Yes.
He is?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. There we go. Another McCaffrey coming. Although he does play for Michigan, so it's probably not going to be that big of a deal.
Well, it's saying here that, let's see here. It's saying this quarterback that's coming up against him is 5'10", and McCaffrey is 6'5". So maybe they might do like a 2 quarterback system, because Ben Fry he's a dual threat, so he's a rusher too. So maybe they'll use him on certain plays and certain downs.
I'd say so, probably. Considering he's Nate Robinson's height.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with being around 5'10".
Not for a normal human being, but if you're trying to be a professional quarterback, there's a little something wrong with being 5'10".
Unless you're Kyler Murray.
Unless you're Kyler Murray, he's one of the rare exceptions.
Or Russ.
Russ is 6 foot.
Or yeah. We'll give him 6 foot.
We'll give him 6 foot. I don't know how I feel about Michigan halfway through December, though. That's deep to play them. I'm happy that I don't have that. We're not going to have that 3-week period between final games and bowl games.
Yeah, that's another thing I was wondering. They were talking about not doing bowl games, but since everybody's coming back,
I imagine that like the ones that are normally before the new year, especially if the MAC and Mountain West and all those other conferences come back, the Pac-12 come back, things like that. I imagine bowl games or bowl sponsors will allow bowl games to happen and things like that. So I think that's all progressing things that are going to come down in the next week or two, and especially with the Pac-12, they're the only Power 5 conference not playing now. And
they said, I think it was USC and UCLA, they both their presidents approved of them playing this year.
Yeah, and I mean those are your two big dogs. I just think you got to get on it, right? We're a month away from the start of the Big Ten, and how much later can a season start than the end of October? Yeah, like
that's
true. A week before that's a week before Halloween, and how much later can the Pac-12 start and still finish on time for that college football playoff selection, which is already like 3 days after the Big Ten's going to end their season.
Yeah. So backtracking a little bit, speaking of the MAC, they said that they will have an announcement sometime this week. They were supposed to vote on Saturday. I'm not too sure what happened, but they said by the end of this week there will be an announcement if MAC comes back, which I would love. I would love to see Dustin throw into Isaiah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But also, speaking of bowl sponsors, they just built a tropical smoothie cafe on campus.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's right across. There's like a Starbucks, and then they built a tropical smoothie there.
I wonder if that's just because of that or something.
Oh, it definitely has
It's got to be, right? Hey, you guys won the bowl.
Right.
Let us partner now. What do you think about the Champions Week for the Big Ten, where the two sides of each division, the number one teams will play the number one team for the Big Ten championship, and then that entire week, so everyone can have 9 games, the 2 seed is going to play the 2 seed, the 3 seed is going to play the 3 seed. My reaction to it is I cannot wait for Michigan to play Rutgers for that 6th seed.
Yes, that'll be fun. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a lot better idea than with just those 2 teams playing, and then for the championship, and then the other teams playing other schools that aren't in the same conference. Yeah. I think that should stick. That's a good idea.
Well, if you think about it, like it's a really if it does stick, it's a thing that gives us that shot to look at that for that final playoff spot at that team that's not your conference champion, or that one loss team that's unfortunately just can't make the conference title game, like Penn State or like Ohio State did when Penn State won the title, or when Ohio State beat Penn State and they couldn't, but they maybe deserved to get in because they only lost to Ohio State, who ended up winning the national title. Things like that. I think it gives us a real good opportunity, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear the SEC follow suit so they can get those Auburn, South Carolina matchups in that same weekend.
Right, and Kentucky
or whoever's not playing Alabama in the SEC title game.
Yeah, that's a great idea to do for championship week. I am all for that. Question is, so is it going to be the same playoffs this year, or are they just going to do bowl games and that's it?
The only thing I know 100% is that the college football playoff is the same.
Okay.
We don't know if there's bowl game there are even going to be in bowl games. We know there's going to be a college football playoff. We know the top 4 teams are going to play for a national title. That's all we know. We don't know if there's going to be bowl games or the New Year's 6 games, none of that. But we'll find that out. Like I said, it's a developing thing. They can't really announce things all at once, I'm sure. But if we get in November and college football is going off without a hitch. Sony and Tostitos and all those people that throw the bigger name bowls are going to want that money from those bowl games. Maybe not the fans, but definitely the TV sponsorships and stuff like that. TV ad revenue, everything that they could bring in. 100%. I don't see if they pull this college football season off successfully that first month and a half, I don't see how, even if they do get pushed back till after the new year, and they're playing during the same time that the college football playoff is going on, aside from those New Year's 6 games, I just think that we could potentially have a January filled with bowl games rather than a middle to end of December.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. The more bowl games, the better. My dad, he's always like, there's too many bowl games. I said, there's not enough bowl games, T. I want to see every team in a bowl game.
Yeah, every bowl, even if it's terrible teams, call it the toilet bowl and sell it to me.
I'm gonna start the CGOD Bowl, and we'll bring in 2 teams. They'll play at Davie Elementary School's football field, the old Roosevelt Field. Call it the CGOD Bowl.
There we go. We could do one for the podcast too.
The Any Given Podcast CGOD Bowl.
Yeah, it could be a double sponsor. You win a title. I don't know what we'll give you.
Give you a shirt or something. Or get you a trophy like this.
We'll get you a Knights trophy. We'll make it happen for you. But off of college football and on to Indians baseball. I won't say it was a great weekend just simply because the offense still looked like it struggled besides the bookended games, Game 1 against the Tigers and Game 4 against the Tigers. But they took 3 out of 4 against an inferior team, and that's what they needed to do. By any stretch of the means, it does not give me any more confidence than I had last week when we came on here and we're going nuts at the fact that they sucked. It doesn't give me any more confidence going into a playoff series in less than 2 weeks in Los Angeles now because they're doing a bubble.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. How the Indians always drop these games to teams that they should smoke, and then they beat teams that are, the better team. And then another thing is, like we said, their bats always get hot late in a game, not when they're, not when you need those runs in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. It's infuriating, but I've been a lifelong Tribe fan, so I'm used to this. Pitching staff still looks good. I saw Jose and Shane Bieber are in the running for MVP for the AL, so that's good. But do I want one of them to win it? Yes. Do I want them to go to the playoffs and then get swept and embarrassed? No. But I will be happy if they go to the playoffs. But I just, inside of me, it's just kind of like, oh, come on, guys. Like, you guys are going to get swept.
Inside of you, it's, do we deserve to be here? Do I want to get hyped for a playoff series and then have that letdown that only a playoff series can do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You lose a regular season game, you're over it in 2 hours.
Right, because there's another one tomorrow.
Yeah. You lose a playoff game, it's serious.
Yeah.
Just ask the Nuggets. Just ask the Celtics. Just ask, it's serious to lose a playoff game, especially when you have to win 4. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing to do. Speaking of hot bats and Jose Ramirez, he seems to be lighting it up now. Is it here to stay, or do you think he just is peaking too early? Because it actually surprises me that you said he was in the MVP running. Because if I'm being honest, I can't look at that Indians offense and completely say a player that has that's had an all around good season.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent, but for the last couple weeks he has been hot, and I think it's here to stay. Jose, his left thumb was really bothering him most of the season, and he didn't want to come out and say it and miss a good amount of time. So he was playing through the pain, and I think that was one of the things that was messing up his batting.
Well, they gave him some time off once they kind of found out about it, and interim manager Sandy Alomar Jr. said something last week about how nobody really has noticed, but Jose kept getting pulled late in the games because he couldn't face right-handed pitchers because of the injury.
Yeah, and did you see him? What day was that? I think it might have been Friday when he was coming down and he tried to slide into first, and he just drove his thumb into the plate.
Yeah,
and everybody was like, "Oh my!" Hammy was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, there it goes. It's just ridiculous that. I'm not saying it's ridiculous that he withheld the injury because every competitor wants to play. But when it first happened, I wish we would have just held him out for a week in Game 5 or 10 or whatever it was. Not we had to deal with it in Game 50 to 55 out of 60.
Right, and that's another thing with an injury like that. Why don't you just nip it in the bud now?
Yeah.
Take care of it because you're only playing 60 games.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, exactly. That we were playing trash teams back then. Well, I get our lineup was terrible, and it's been terrible all year, and it's still been terrible right now. But I would much rather you have Jose fully healthy for that stretch that was Minnesota, Chicago, Kansas City, then Minnesota, then Chicago again, then we just finished Detroit. That was the stretch we needed him to be healthy, and that's when the injury started coming to a head where he couldn't play games, and then we get instances where Mike Freeman's playing second base now because Jose's out, and then Hernandez was out too because he was having a kid, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was just it could have been fixed earlier. I would even say before the Clevenger trade, when you had that second guy that you knew was going to dominate.
Yeah, I've been preaching it since it happened. Could have gotten a veteran, didn't get a veteran. I don't know why. They knew we needed bats in the outfield, and they get Naylor, which he hasn't been terrible, but you still know, and I'm going to say it again, Jackie Bradley Jr. or somebody like that can come in, feel comfortable with the team, and win some games.
The thing is I hate trading to the Red Sox. I hate trading to the Yankees. This year, I would have done it.
Yeah, and speaking of the Yankees, how have they fallen apart? Coming from one of the best teams in baseball with just all the injuries. I mean, I guess I know how they fell apart.
Yeah, it's
but all the injuries, that's just such an unfortunate thing for them to go through. But then again, it's still the Yankees, so screw them.
They're going to get themselves a 6th seed and be fully healthy when the playoffs come around. And
that's what they do.
The only thing that sucks for them is I would say they would have to be away most of the time, but it's going to be in a bubble, so whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like these NBA games. Sure, there's a logo on the court, but it's just kind of it's neutral.
It's not your arena.
Yeah, it's
or your field house.
So speaking of the MLB playoffs, let's go ahead and preview what's going on there. Like we expanded on earlier, the 2020 MLB postseason is an expanded postseason. There are 16 total teams, 8 from each conference that are going to make it. All the division winners, everybody that gets second in the division, and then there are 2 wild card teams. Right now, the Indians are sitting at that top wild card spot with the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins ahead of them in the division. Currently sitting at the 7th seed and would be facing the White Sox in the first round. And honestly, it could fall off. I'm actually not even sure how the standing works, considering we have both more wins and less losses than Houston, and somehow they're still. I know how it works. They're the 2nd seed in the West.
Yeah, that's the one thing too. I feel a little more comfortable with the Indians facing the White Sox than one of the other teams, just because how many times we've faced the White Sox the Twins. So that's not necessarily the worst thing that could happen. Just like we talked with Jose, we need to get the bats going. That's been pretty much our Achilles heel all year, is the bats.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like you said, they have actually played the White Sox better than anybody they've played in the division.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't necessarily hate that.
So they might have, despite the fact that the White Sox are looking at being the team that ends up winning the Central with If I do the math, that's 46 games played, so 4 or 5 games, depending on if you've played today yet or not, basically. So it looks like the White Sox are going to go on to win the Central. So it's weird to say that the Indians might have drawn a lucky card playing the division winners of their own division in round 1. But I truthfully think it's true. The Oakland lineup, I think, it would give us some fits, and considering how our lineup can't score more than 4, that's a problem. Tampa Bay's pitching is the only one that really rivals the Indians, and they have a decent lineup. Minnesota is Minnesota, and they've got a tremendous lineup. Houston is, I guess, Houston. Not really. I don't know if I'm that worried about them anymore without a trash can.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody said it the best on Twitter. They're like, baseball's a really hard sport when you don't know what pitch is coming.
Yeah, it is. And they said everything they said at the beginning of this year, and all it has done is come out and prove it, with Altuve having one of his worst seasons since he's been in the bigs. Correa hasn't been that much better. Springer has not been that much better. The 3 main faces of that organization all seem to have fallen off this year. I'm excited. I think the Indians could, with the pitching, go a decent amount. Pitching is going to carry a team in the postseason, and they might have gotten the luck of the draw against the White Sox because they tend to play that team really, really, really well.
Yeah. Do you think in the series, the World Series, who do you think makes it from this list?
You want me to pick an NL and an AL team?
Yeah.
San Diego, Oakland.
Okay.
I think if they're home teams, right? Technically, I mean.
Yeah, I mean they're out there.
They're out there. Obviously, the Dodgers are probably going to end up being the most centralized home team. I just feel like they're done losing in the World Series, so they might end up losing. And that San Diego lineup is young. It's exciting. They do everything any single lineup strives to do. And the Dodgers aren't what they've been.
Yeah.
Their pitching is not what it's been. Their lineup is pretty good, but their pitching is not what it's been, and that's again another weird thing to say for the best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. See, this is a tough one because coming out of the American League, I would have to go. I'm probably going to go with the Central team, either the Indians, White Sox, or Twins, just because the Rays are number 1, but can they hold up after playing this well the whole season? And then for the NL, I'd probably go Padres or Dodgers as well.
Yeah, Padres, Dodgers in the NL. I can see what you're saying with the Central. Really, I don't know what pulled me to Oakland. Something pulled me to Oakland. The only other team I can really see giving any of the Central fits is the Yankees.
Yeah. If they're healthy, then absolutely.
Yeah, if the Yankees get healthy by playoff time, that's the only other team I really can even see. I won't say taking care of the Indians because I can see any of the teams taking care of the Indians just because of how we played. But in terms of the Twins and what the roster might be like for the White Sox come that time. Speaking of rosters, who do you think are the Indians pitchers in the playoffs?
Definitely Bieber.
Well, yeah, he's one.
Carrasco.
Are you sure?
You think they wouldn't put him in there?
Well, I know they switched it up. I know they went Bieber, Plesac, then McKenzie this week.
Okay, then yeah, I could see that too. Maybe they would put Carrasco in just because he has experience in the postseason.
I think Carrasco's going to make it as that third. Not only just because he has that experience, but also McKenzie got rocked the other day.
Yeah,
and not like terrible.
Couple moon shots.
He left some stuff over the plate. His velocity dropped a little bit. He lost. the game. So some of those things. So like I think McKenzie can be on the team. I just think if we're gonna go who's that third starter, it's probably Carrasco with McKenzie as the fourth in a 7-game series. If they decide to go four pitchers, or unless they go 3.
I mean, I could definitely see it. That's my whole thing, is just the veteran aspect of it. McKenzie, I really like McKenzie. I think he's a great pitcher. But who would you rather have out there pitching in the playoffs?
No, yeah, I 100% am agreeing that Carrasco, just because of his experience, 100% gets the nod from me. I'm not sitting here saying anything else other than that, because experience is key. It's the reason people didn't think the Lakers were going to make the playoffs this year, because their second best player, Anthony Davis, hasn't done anything in the playoffs ever. But look at him now. Look at him now. There's a reason why Corey Kluber was so integral in those runs the last couple of years, because he's been there, he's done that. Trevor Bauer even been there, done that. It was a reason why it was a big deal when they were forced to call Bieber up in a playoff start before he was ready. It's experience matters in the playoffs. Pitching matters in the playoffs. It becomes a very slow game. It becomes a methodical game. It's not, hey, I'm going to pitch to you. Let's see if you could hit 8 runs. See if you could have a bomb party. It's, I'm going to put this in the right placement. I'm going to place this right. I'm going to paint the box. I'm going to paint the plate. Inside, outside, up, down, around, side. I'm going to intentionally walk people because that's the situation I'm in. It's a very managerial game, and if Francona comes back, the Indians have one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was thinking about too, is with him being out for how long he's been out, and Sandy being in there. Sandy isn't making the same type of like chess game plays that Francona knows how to.
It took him 45 games to change the lineup.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that kind of worried me. Don't get me wrong, I think Sandy will have a great career as a head coach, whether it's after Tito retires or with another team. So I think he'll have a great career, but yeah, it took him way too long to change the lineup. I don't know why he wasn't talking to, I mean, he might have been, I don't know, if he was talking to Francona, like when they were done with the games, about what's going on tomorrow, or just letting Terry rest. I'm not too sure. I know another thing was they were all wound up with the Clevenger-Plesac ordeal.
Yeah.
And that's distracting, just like with the whole Baker and Freddie Kitchens thing. It's distracting when you have these in-clubhouse disagreements, arguments, drama, and you're trying to go out there and win games.
For no reason.
Yeah.
No reason at all.
So I'm not putting that on Sandy.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's not Sandy's fault at all. They got to get it together. 2 weeks ago, all it boils down to, we could sit here and talk. We've talked for a half hour about it, and it's all it boils down to is get your shit together. Because
Absolutely.
It's time. Even if there is an asterisk on the shortened season and the championship, and it's a paper title or whatever anybody wants to call it, go get one. Then it's been what?
Since 48.
Since 48. I can't do the math in my head. Actually, I can. It's 72 years. Yeah, 72 years. See, I'm good. And so it's been 72 years. Even if you got to go in a shortened season and do that, do it. If the Astros could keep their title after banging on a trash can for off-speed pitches, so you can know when a curveball's coming, go win a title in a shortened season, because it means more than that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only one that should really have an asterisk.
Yeah, that's the only one that has an asterisk. Even if you go back and find out that one of the players on a team that won before was doing steroids or something, still not an asterisk. Stealing signs is an asterisk.
Yeah, that just takes away from the game. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. Are you looking for posters from one of your favorite concerts at the Kent Stage? Well, I got just the site for you. KentStagePosters.com. That's KentStagePosters.com. They have hundreds of posters there from all different variety of shows. And they're cheap, too. Not cheaply made, cheaply expensive wise. So check it out. That's KentStagePosters.com. All right, and we are going to jump to the NBA right now. We have the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, which are heating up right now. Brendan, you want to get a little more into that?
So the Lakers are taking on the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. They currently sit with a 2-0 lead after last night's down-to-the-wire victory with a game-winning shot right at the end, a three-pointer over both Nikola Jokic and Mason Plumlee. To win the game for Anthony Davis. Davis has really stepped up for the Lakers. LeBron is LeBron, and they dominated all year. Why wouldn't they continue to dominate? The thing is the Nuggets are kind of the Cinderella story of the entire situation. Down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz in the first series. Came back, won that. Down 3-1 in the second series to the Los Angeles Clippers. Everyone's favorite came back and beat them, knocked them out. Now they're taking on LeBron and the Lakers. I think the veteran experience of LeBron and just who he is could potentially just help the Lakers avoid the Nuggets coming back on them.
Yeah, and when Davis hit him with the Kobe.
Yeah, walked away and said Kobe right after he hit it. Yeah, that was big. All that boils down to is who's going to the finals, and I really think that the East is the more intriguing matchup. You got Celtics Heat over there. That currently is sitting at 2-1 with Game 3 Wednesday night when we release this, right about the same time. Or Game 4. It's 2-1, so Game 4 is Wednesday night. Actually, the Lakers and Nuggets play Tuesday night. So by the time this airs, it could be 3-0 or 2-1 there as well. The thing is you either get LeBron either gets to if he wins the series, either gets to go to the finals and play the team that he could never get past when he was younger in the East, or he gets to go baptize all those old demons from that 4-year stint in Miami and destroy the Heat.
You know what? I hope the Heat wins just because they're going to be like, oh, LeBron, blah, 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 crying about it. Like, he didn't destroy our hearts when he left to go to Miami. I can't wait to see that.
I really want them to go to the finals just so he could destroy them.
Right? Just sweep them.
Baptize them demons. Baptize them. That's what I'm calling it. LeBron is going to baptize his demons in the finals against the Miami Heat.
And then, the Heat fans are going to be like, we like Butler anyway. He's better.
Yeah. Butler didn't win you the title. LeBron won the title in his 17th year.
Yeah.
And they look scary. And why do they look scary? Because LeBron is pissed.
LeBron is
pissed. If you don't know why LeBron is pissed because Bucks All-Star, All-NBA Pro Superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo won his second consecutive MVP. LeBron only receiving 16 votes, first place votes compared to Giannis's 85. Even goes on like a long rant talking about he don't really know if the voters actually kind of play.
Yeah. Oh, they just play favorites. They don't watch the games.
Well, yeah, that's what he was basically saying. He don't know that if they watch basketball, they vote for what fits the narrative. The narrative of the media has been Giannis Antetokounmpo for MVP all year, and guess what? Giannis won MVP. Just like it could even be said for Montrezl Harrell winning Sixth Man of the Year. Why? He's not even the Clippers' sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bench guy, sure, but he's not the Clippers' sixth man. It's all about the narrative.
A little hiccup there, huh?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron has a reason to be pissed off. The 4 years that he was in Cleveland, it was like Steph winning it every year.
Yeah.
And that's just because they wanted to make Steph. Now, Steph is not doing well. Well, I mean, he was injured and stuff. But still, they were just doing Steph because everybody loves Steph.
Yeah.
Now everybody loves the Greek Freak, so they're just giving it to him.
Guys, if you haven't learned yet, marketing means the world to everybody. And it's so much easier to market two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, than it is to market 4-time MVP, old man, year 17 LeBron James.
Right, because for 17 years, I mean, longer than that, they've been talking about LeBron, even when he was in high school. And, you know, they think, all right, people are getting sick of this. Let's put in somebody new. So, I mean, I get it. It's a business. It's politics. But whatever. LeBron deserved it this year. I'll just say that. He went on a monster run. He's still on a monster run. So, do you want to play the clip that LeBron said?
Yeah, we'll play the clip.
I mean, I'm fine. Don't get it twisted. Like, I'm going back to my room. I'm perfectly fine. I mean, we're at 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals. I'm absolutely fine. So don't. Like, I was pissed off at the reaction earlier when I saw it. I'm absolutely great now. I'm going back to my room, drink some wine, and sleep very well tonight. So let's not get it twisted. I'm great. It's just the voting scale is a little weird to me sometimes. I mean, if you take 2012, if you just stick with me here, 2012, 2013, I had a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year and also MVP in the same season. And that year, Marc Gasol was rewarded Defensive Player of the Year. But he made second team all defense. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. It's like being the MVP of the league, but you make second team all NBA. That's when I really started to look at things a little bit kind of like differently. I was like, how does that even make any sense? It's like being rookie of the year, but you make second team all rookie. You know, and then I looked at the most improved this year, and rightfully so, Brandon Ingram was amazing. I thought he should have won it. But did you see the votes that Devontae Graham get? He averaged 4 points last year compared to 17 and a half. If that's not improving, what is? And it's just a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
That was LeBron in his post-game press conference, just talking about just how it upsets him. But moving on, we're going to go ahead and go on into the NFL. Not much else to talk about with the NBA. The Cleveland Browns finally get in the win column in Week 2 of this year with a Thursday Night Football win, 35-30, toppling the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I know it's only a 5-point win, but that is definitely... The score does not do it justice. The Browns dominated in this game. Now, the defense wasn't great. Obviously, they let Joe Burrow throw for over 300 yards, although he threw the ball over 60 times.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say big game from the running.
I'm going to pull a little LeBron here, and I'm pretty pissed off that everybody's like, oh, it's just the Bengals. It's just the Bengals, blah, blah, blah. But then they were like, oh, Joe Burrow, you were fantastic, yada, yada. I'm not here. I'm not going to take any Baker hate. Did that all last year. Listen to all these people say Baker doesn't have it. Baker's fat. No, Baker still has it. He had that swagger and confidence back on Thursday that he had at Oklahoma and in 2018.
100%. If Thursday night's Baker Mayfield is here to stay, book it now. Browns are a playoff team.
And Stefanski is running the ball. We have the best backfield in the NFL.
There's only one team in the entire National Football League that had a higher run rate than the Cleveland Browns this week. Who do you think it was?
Who?
You know who it is. Just take a guess.
I'm blinking right now.
The Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans, of course.
Yeah.
Well, Derrick Henry only put up 8 points. Oh, speaking of fantasy football, Ian beat me because Chris Carson got a touchdown at the end of the game, an unnecessary touchdown. So,
well, I'm not going to declare a victory yet because it is only Monday and I got to wait for tonight. But I am playing your boy Josh. I am currently up 105 points.
Oh, JP.
I'm just saying. So if Drew Brees and I think he has here, I'll pull it up while I'm talking. He has Drew Brees, I know for sure, and then he has a running back. As long as they don't score to combine to score over 100 points, I'm in there. Finally getting in the win column for fantasy after that garbage Monday last week for me. I don't think this Monday is going to be garbage because I don't know if Drew Brees and anybody can combine for 105 points. Okay, so he has Drew Brees and Josh Jacobs.
Gotcha.
I have nobody left to go.
Yeah, that was a shame. It came down to the last play that Chris Carson had, and he got that touchdown, which was pretty disappointing. I benched Fournette for some reason, and I started Derrick Henry, and Fournette put up 27, Henry put up 8. I mean, it was a reasonable start.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Henry,
always play Henry, yeah.
I didn't know that Fournette was going to go for 27.
Yeah. Nobody still knows what Tampa Bay is going to do in that backfield.
Yeah, and then I'm an idiot, so I got Gronkowski because I thought Brady knows him good. He's going to throw to him. No. 0 points.
Hey, I did that on FanDuel last week. I took Gronk. Nothing. Like 1 point. He had 1 catch. Gronk, I do something now that you're back, or just go. Just go. Let O.J. Howard get it so we know what tight end to play.
He's just there to sell jerseys.
At this point, that's what it seems. He hasn't really done much. Tom Brady looked good, though, on Sunday.
He did.
He looked good on Sunday. How about that Dallas Cowboys win?
You guys got pretty lucky there.
I'm going to call it luck, but I'm also going to call it will. There's 2 teams there. We got lucky. They choked. Which one you want to call it?
I think that was they choked.
I'll call it they choked because if you're going to stand there and sit there and wait for the ball to go 10 yards, despite the fact that you can touch it as soon as it leaves the foot of the kicker,
that was mind-boggling. I thought I was watching like Kent Parks and Rec football. It was ridiculous.
I almost tackled people when it happened. When they recovered that, I went nuts. Spent the last 2 minutes of the game in a squat position, just waiting for that game-winning field goal. It was one of the. I'll call it. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. I think it's, in terms of Cowboys wins, one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. Real quick for some of our listeners that didn't catch all of the games yesterday, I'm going to do a quick rundown of each score.
That sounds like a very good plan.
All right. So the Jaguars lost to the Titans 30-33. Panthers lost to the Buccaneers in Tampa 17-31. Broncos lost to the Steelers 21-26. The LA Rams won in Philly against the Birds 37-19. San Fran went into New York and dug them up for some gold 31-13 49ers. The Bills won 31-28 against the Dolphins. That was a great game. Josh Allen is my fantasy quarterback. I've always liked Josh Allen.
How about him just bodying dudes?
He just broke like 3 tackles in a row.
Yeah, just running people. I don't know if I didn't think anybody. He might have ran harder than Zeke did yesterday, and Zeke hit somebody 5 yards back.
Yeah, I mean, he went off. So the Vikings of Minnesota go into Indianapolis, lose to the Colts 11-28. Tigers go into the tundra of Green Bay. They lose 21-42.
The Tigers are a baseball team. Those are the Lions.
The Lions. Detroit. Tigers, Lions.
That's why I said you're good. Either way, futile franchises.
Yeah.
They lost.
The 0-2 Falcons from Atlanta go into Dallas, lose by 1 point to the Cowboys on a ridiculous choke play.
Biggest blown lead since 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean that. I still can't fathom that. The Giants go into the Windy City and lose to the Bears 13-17. America's Washington football team goes into Scottsdale, Arizona and loses by 15-30 to the Cardinals. Chiefs go into LA against the Chargers and they scalp the Chargers 23-20. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Ravens go into Houston. They win 33-16 against the Texans. And the Patriots on Sunday Night Football went into Seattle and got tossed around like one of those stinky fish at the market. They lose to the Seahawks 30-35.
Overall, a very good weekend of football. What we should get into now is the injuries that piled up. You talked about San Fran going into the New York and beating the Jets. 4 injuries for them. Jimmy Garoppolo out for a little while with a high ankle sprain. Nick Bosa done for the year with an ACL. Solomon Thomas seemingly done for the year with an ACL. Raheem Mostert hurt himself. He might be gone for a little while too. But outside of that, who do you have? Just even more. What do we have here?
Like Saquon, ACL.
Done for the year.
Christian McCaffrey, ankle out multiple weeks. Sutton, ACL, out for the year. Drew Lock got hit. He has a shoulder injury. He's out for 2 to 6 weeks. Paris Campbell, PCL, he's out indefinitely. And Malik Hooker, we all love Hooker. Torrey Achilles, he's out for the year, which is a shame.
It's a very and then you had Bruce Irvin, the defensive end for the Seattle Seahawks. That one wasn't on the image or whatever, so no big deal on that. That's another big loss for them. Seattle is currently ranked the worst defense in all of football, and to lose one of their better players is not good for them. Injuries are beginning to pile up, and it's weird because the Browns finally seem to be getting over them. Getting Mac Wilson back today, Greedy Williams back today, and Kevin Johnson.
Yes.
Kevin Johnson probably was the best player on that defense with that week 1 game against Baltimore. So,
absolutely. I'm just excited to see getting Greedy back. Our secondary has been getting smoked these last 2 games. So hopefully, if Greedy can stay healthy, he can help be on the other side of Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward, he's been looking all right.
He looked pretty good Thursday.
I wouldn't say he's looking fantastic.
No, yeah, he's not.
But he's looking pretty good. He's looking all right.
My concern is not with Denzel Ward's play. I'm not worried about his play, not at all. I'm worried about the fact that he's on the field every single week.
Yeah. That's one of the things that we've been trying to figure it out. And why am I drawing a blank on the safety 23?
Sendejo.
With the
white hair.
Yeah.
Andrew Sendejo.
My dad, we were watching that game. My dad was like, who the hell is that old man?
Yeah, I don't know if it's if he's got something going on, if he just dyes his hair white or what, if it's some sort of medical issue he's going through or something.
Maybe he's just one of those guys that naturally go gray.
Yeah.
Like in their 20s.
Yeah, or he just went gray real early. Who knows?
Yep, and was just like, you know what, screw it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks all right on him. Might as well better than being bald if you got a full head of hair, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's not start hating on hairlines quite yet.
I didn't hate on no hairline. I'm just saying some hair is better than no hair. To me at least.
All right. So, what were your thoughts? We're going to go back to the Patriots Seahawks. Cam looked fantastic. Russ looked like Russ. That's all you can really say about Wilson, not Westbrook.
Yeah. So what are my thoughts on Cam?
Yeah.
My thoughts on Cam is I knew it. I came on this show, and as soon as they signed him, I said, they're probably going to be scary again. And Cam has proved that he's Cam. He's done everything that Super Cam does. He's looked like MVP season. I won't say MVP season because that was a different breed. But he looks like starting quarterback Cam Newton for the Carolina Panthers back when he was younger. He looks like he got over the injury. He got his confidence back. I'll tell you, he looked a lot more accurate than I ever freaking seen the dude last night.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked like he was having a lot of fun, too. Dancing and all that, like in the end zone. One thing, though, one takeaway is how are you going to continue running him when you're, like, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal? Like, they had 3 seconds left in the 4th quarter. They were down 5, and they tried to do the same quarterback draw that they did the whole game. And obviously the defense caught on to it, and they stuffed him right there as soon as he's tried to run. Why wouldn't you try to pull, like, a play action there, like you're running, and then just toss it over the...
Do like a jump pass or something.
Over the O-line, yeah. Or do an option.
Yeah.
Have one of your running backs behind you and toss it off. bring it in. But speaking of the Patriots, James White's father tragically passed away yesterday before the game in a car accident. His mother is in critical condition. Our thoughts and prayers go out to your family,
Yes.
James. That's just a tragic thing to happen, and for it to happen when you don't have the best access to fly down to Florida at the moment. You're still with the team in Seattle, so thoughts and prayers go out to your family.
Yeah. My favorite part of that was part of the game was when McCourty scored. He said, "We love you 2-8."
Yeah.
Or 2-8, we love you, bro, or something like that. Yeah, just prayers up to James White. It's not something that anybody ever wants to go through. Like you said, his dad passed away, and his mom is in very critical condition in the hospital, and he's kind of stuck in Seattle.
Yeah.
So just prayers up from any given podcast to James White. Good on you, because I actually forgot about that.
So we're gonna go into this and preview Browns versus the Washington football team. What are your predictions here?
Well, after week 1, I'd have told you that this was a game that I didn't think the Browns could win. After week 2, I think things started to settle down, and Washington looked more like Washington, and the Browns looked more like what I thought the Cleveland Browns were going to be this year. So I think it's a toss-up for me, but I would say that I wouldn't be worried about the Browns losing this game. I think there's going to be a lot of rushing attempts that the Browns could take advantage of in the rushing game with Hunt and Chubb. Or Chubb and Hunt, I should say, because Chubb's the number one. I think the play-action pass will open up Baker Mayfield to do a lot of things against pretty much a secondary that who they have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing is Haskins has looked decent, and if he finds a way to take advantage of what we've seen people take advantage of in the first 2 weeks, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson take advantage of from the Browns. Then, however, the Washington offensive line is one of the worst in football. They allow pressures on 35.1% of passings this year. So the defensive line should eat. And
and the way that Sheldon Richardson's been playing, like he played last week.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Browns have a great defensive core. But it's just the injuries that we've taken to the secondary is the one that.
No, yeah, it's your second line. I'm gonna say, I'll call it now. Trade Vernon for a corner.
Yeah, I was surprised that they re-signed him over the offseason.
Well, they already had him under contract. They actually made him take a pay cut. Yeah, he took a pay cut. That's the only reason he's still here.
Gotcha.
But if he's going to continue to not be able to get on the field, Claiborne showed me enough in that game with the 2 sacks that we'll put him there. Porter Gustin looked really good.
I was going to say Porter Gustin looked fantastic.
Sheldon Richardson, like you said, looked really good.
You saw my tweet. I said pay Sheldon Richardson.
Give me Garrett, Ogunjobi, Richardson, Claiborne. Let's move on. Give me those guys. Now Claiborne is hurt, so I don't know if he's going to be back this week or not. We're still waiting on that kind of update, but because he did get hurt in the game after the 2 sacks, but he looked good. And I know that he is good. I watched him put 6 sacks on the Dallas Cowboys a couple years ago in one game.
Yeah.
And you put him on the outside opposite of Garrett, that's going to start opening Garrett from the double teams. And if they do continue to go double team Garrett, then we know that even if Garrett's stats are a little down, Sheldon Richardson's going to get through. And if not Sheldon Richardson, Ogunjobi's going to get through.
Yeah, it was weird watching the game on Thursday, and I was sitting there, and I was like, Myles Garrett hasn't really made any noise. And the next play,
strip sack.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Never mind. Gotcha. There he is. Maybe it's just one of those reverse jinxes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're watching a game, you don't get a chance to sit there and evaluate at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You're watching it, just enjoy it to keep on. If you go back and watch it, you'll see 70% of the time Garrett was behind 2 people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, it just didn't seem like he made any noise, like a big sack or a strip fumble, and that was fantastic to see. The spread on the Washington-Cleveland game is Cleveland -6.
Okay, so
the same as last week.
So it's They're home. Cleveland's a home team.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I knew. I was thinking that. So they get the 3 points for being home, and they think they could win by 3. They're a 3-point better team. So what you got for me? It's time for this day in sports history, my man.
This day in sports history, September 22nd, 1927. Same year the Kent Stage was built. 1927. American former Major League Baseball pitcher, coach, manager, the oldest living Hall of Famer from the MLB. Tommy Lasorda was born that day. We only have a few minutes, so I'm not going to get all the way into Tommy Lasorda, but he made his MLB debut August 5th, 1954 for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Last MLB appearance was in 56 for the Kansas City Athletics. So he didn't have that great of a playing career, but what he did outside of his playing career was just phenomenal. There's great videos of him online fighting the Philly Fanatic and other mascots because they were like annoying him, and he was there to coach baseball. Those are some great videos. He stole the Fanatics ATV once. That's pretty funny.
I would say he's done a lot outside of his baseball career, his playing career.
Yeah.
Considering it says here that in 2020, it was his 71st season with the Dodgers, whether it was Brooklyn or Los Angeles. And you're telling me he played 2 years in play? He played 2
years, yeah. And then they retired his number 2 from his manager days. He surpassed Vince Scully, legendary Hall of Fame sportscaster for the Dodgers, by 3 seasons. He has just done so many great things. He led the American team in the 2000 Summer Olympics to the gold medal, beating favored Cuba, which had won the gold medal at 2 previous Olympics. It's just you can go down the list. It's just he was Sporting News Minor League Manager of the Year in 1970. My apologies. AP Manager of the Year 81, Baseball America Manager of the Year 88. 88 was Sporting News Co-Manager of the Year. It just goes down the list.
Yeah.
So that is who we have. Tommy Lasorda. Happy birthday, buddy. Happy 93rd birthday. That is fantastic. And also on that note, the Kent Stage, the building, in 7 years will turn 100.
100.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of crazy to think about, because when we were talking about the situation, me and my grandma or whatever, I said something, we were talking about it, and she was like, well, why are they there? I was like, it's a 100-year-old building. It's going to happen.
Right. Something I don't look forward to in 7 years is being 31, so that's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll be 32.
Yeah. Not looking forward to that, but you know what they say, 30 is the new 20, so
let's hope it's better.
Yes. Hopefully in 7 years we'll be out of the pandemic. We can go to sporting events again.
Let's hope I'm getting paid to go to sporting events.
Absolutely, and hopefully we can throw a giant 100-year anniversary party here at the stage. That would be fantastic. All right. Brendan, anything else?
Nope. Where can they follow you, my man?
They can follow me on Twitter at ETHSimpsonCGOD. You can follow me on Instagram at ETHSimpson, and that's about it.
All right, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at BWardCLE. Follow me on Instagram, B.Ward52. Go ahead and follow the podcast on Twitter at Podcast Given, on Instagram at Any Given Podcast, Facebook.com/Any Given Podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Any Given Podcast. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
God bless and stay blessed.